solution.
And I think I'm the first batch of the ICP in MEPI, from which I think the ICP started in 2017, and I think I'm one of those in ICP MEPI. I think that's the first time started, so I will only say something. These are the outlines. This is something about myself. Originally from Ethiopia. I did Bachelor of Science in Public Health in Ethiopia, but Bachelor of Science in Public Health is somewhat a special. It's not great public health. You just take a lot of clinical courses and a lot of public health courses. The main aim of Bachelor of Science in Public Health is just to fill the shortage of medicine in Ethiopia. So, it's working. Can you go? Yes, just connect it close to your. So I did Bachelor of Science in Public Health for 4 years, and then applied for Master of Epidemiology at the University of Antwerp and got scholarship in 2017 and 1990. Then immediately in September I started my PhD at the same university, but a different team. I did it in Socrates in epidemiology department, but my PhD is in primary and interdisciplinary care, but the same department as family medicine professionals. My PhD is in the SPICES project. SPICES is abbreviation for scaling up packages of interventions for prevention of cardiovascular disease in selected seats of Africa and Europe, mainly in Uganda, representing low-income country, South Africa, representing middle-income country, and in Europe, Asia, UK, and France, just to see the prevention of this area. The design is an implementation research. The main gap they observed was like passive dissemination lifestyle guidelines. There's a physical activity, drugs, smoking, alcohol, but this results in subtle changes in actual lifestyle. So there is a need for active risk assessment of the risk level for participants and to have an integrated approach for prevention of cardiovascular risk. So the value of the gap for SPICES project, and the aim was to implement and evaluate the prevention intervention in those settings in Uganda, South Africa, Belgium, which United Kingdom. This project was a mixed method, qualitative and quantitative, but I was responsible for quantitative evaluation of the project. The main findings in this project were like we performed systematic review in the world, and the systematic review showed that community-based interventions are effective in improving risk factors of cardiovascular disease. They have a potential for primary prevention, but we found that the effectiveness varies across contexts and across different institutions. And the main challenge was maintenance of intervention and the effect beyond the intervention period, mainly after 2 years or 3 years is really challenging. These were the main findings. The main findings from the outside were like, it's really challenging to have community-based interventions for vulnerable groups because to get vulnerable groups to research is really challenging. So these were the main findings from the project. So these are my research interests, mainly focused on identifying the factors of non-communicable disease, mainly cardiovascular disease and cancer, development and validation of prediction models, and risk stratification tools, especially to identify chronic diseases as early as possible. implementation of prevention strategies and epidemiological methods. Currently, I am on the way to finalize my PhD, and I'm happy that my chairperson in the internal jury is here from faculty. And I did my internal meeting 2 weeks, and I'm happy that I will be defending maybe in the coming months. That's all about my PhD. Currently, I started a new job at VITO. VITO is abbreviation for Place Institute for Technological Pharmaceutical. That's in Dutch, but in English it's Flemish Institute of Technological Research. The main aim of this research unit is like they have 5 sections: sustainable chemistry, sustainable energy, sustainable climate or something, and then sustainable health. So I'm responsible for the health. There are different activities, and my main role is as epidemiologist and statistician. Mainly, I write proposals for funding, performing textual review, designing studies, statistical processing of data by developing and automating statistical and epidemiological methods, and just present research and project results in conferences as a publication for publication. So these are my main role in methodological shifts. VITO. Let me introduce you some of the projects that I'm working as epidemiologist and also as statistician in my current position. The first project is PART. This is a European partnership for assessment of risks of chemicals. This project is all over Europe. It has 200 partners in 28 countries of EU, including University of Hassen, almost institutes, science and also institutes from Europe. The main aim of this partnership is to identify environmental chemicals that affects health. So the main aim is just to how much is the limit for each chemicals, just to determine the exposure limit and to see the impact of this limit on stakeholder and effect biomarkers. There are a lot of samples taken from blood, from urine, hair samples, skin samples. They will see the association of these exposure chemicals with health. The outcomes are really different, starting from like respiratory system, cardiovascular disease, cancers, and epigenetics. So there are a lot of outcomes that specifically are involved in assessing the exposure to phthalates and the exposure to PFAS on cancer risk and on epigenetic changes. So this is the main project that I'm working. My role in this project is mainly statistical analysis and presentation of results in the form of reports, in the form of publications, and in the form of releasing. So this is one of the main projects that I'm currently working on. The other project is GORIAS. This is the main aim of this project is to identify metabolic disrupting chemicals in the environment, and this more of metabolomics study to see the effect of these chemicals on fasting blood sugar, on random blood sugar, and also on different metabolic hormones. The other project that I'm working on is also a base cost project. This project is relatively new project. Almost all the universities are involved, and it's totally by Science Summer. The aim of this project is just to develop a novel methodological framework to quantify the burden and the health inequality of device noise pollution. For this project, I'm mainly responsible for performance system security meta analysis to determine or to develop exposure response functions. What will be the effect of certain exposure, let's say air pollution on ischemic heart disease? So just to determine that exposure function, that's my role in this project. There are also a lot of projects that I'm working on, but these are the most important one in my position. After that, I will say something about what will be the role of epidemiologists in current technological advance. As we see that there are a lot of advances in computational capacities, let's say improve in analysis of molecular, genetic, and environmental epidemiology. Historically, it was like small data with 2x2 tables to measure the association of results. And these days, I think we cannot speak to that because there are a lot of advances in computing capacity, a lot of advances in merging different data from different perspectives. So, as epidemiologists, we really need to be updated to this kind of technological advance and to see how can we apply those things for as epidemiologists. Machine learning, there are more accurate diagnostic and prognostic models. So it's nice to see how we apply those issues in the epidemiological perspective. There are multiple sources of data, how to combine those data in a meaningful way and how to produce those meaningful information to the public, to the science, and to policymakers. Artificial intelligence, improvement in screening, in detection, drug discovery, everything. So there are also various tools to facilitate system of review. I would say that epidemiologists need to update themselves with the current advanced technologies, whether this AI or some other tools cannot overtake our needs. So my final tip for epidemiologists is like to get strong foundation in epidemiology, statistics, and the subject matter interested. Personally, I would strongly recommend to have more quantitative skill as epidemiologist. I strongly recommend to take some of the courses that Prof is mentioned because as epidemiologist, most of the jobs, they really require to have good quantitative skill. So I would recommend to be strongly quantitative and also the subject matter types. The other tip is to have practical experience. There are thousands of courses in epidemiology or statistics. I think it will never be the same as doing it. So it's nice to have practical experiences, either in internships or to collaborate with institutes or also with professors. So I think that would be great to have good understanding of epidemiology also statistics. So practical experience is the best way to know something. The other one is stay updated. Epidemiology is constantly evolving through time. So I think it's nice to do behavior, what are the new things, what are the applications in epidemiology. That will be, I think, creativity in epidemiology. The other one is communication skill. Most of our works as epidemiologists, they require to have good communication skill orally as well as written skill. Orally means you need to communicate your findings to scientific community, you need to communicate your findings to policy, and most importantly, you need to communicate science to a wider public. For instance, recently there was like a research which was done by VITO, and they found that there is a high level of PFAS in some of the districts in Belgium, specifically in Flemish, and it was all over the news. But each news portals, they were really reporting somewhat loud information. So it's really nice to have a good communication skill that you tell your findings to the public. Finally, the aim of the research is just to make changes in the public. not for funding, but for publication or something. The final goal is just to communicate findings to the public. So I think it's nice to have good communications, how to change information from research, from numbers to the wider public. And most important, I think it's nice to have a good networking. Can not do anything without having a good network of researchers, policymakers, and also practitioners. This is all about. Thank you for your attention.